I want that person.
It's a real good story.
Yes.
No, I'm glad he lived. But the award.
Good point.
I'm switching my answer now. There we go.
I was just gonna say you want it because you're so sweet and innocent.
Travis.
There's a semi. Game on.
That game on just gets me every time with that deer. I love it. It's my favorite. That deer, it's my favorite. Well, welcome everybody to the Squad Pod. I almost said it's Tuesday night. It's Wednesday night. We're on a different night, and that's A-okay, right?
I had to go do mom shit.
That's right. Mom shit trumps pod shit.
Yes, absolutely.
We know how to do the mom thing over here at the Squad Pod. So before we get things going, we always like to remind you to check us out on YouTube. You should be watching through YouTube anyway right now and subscribe. Good evening, MC. And you could comment along through YouTube like MC is right now. And you could also follow us on X at the Bougie Sports Squad and at the Real Squad Pod. Facebook. Bougie Sports Squad and Bougie Sports on there as well. I can almost not say it. And last but certainly not least, you can check us on our website, bougiesports.net. Let me tell you something. Yvette has put major time into that website.
Yes.
Old episodes, clips, pictures of us out and about throughout the last couple seasons, all good stuff. So you have to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tonight, oh my gosh, we have so many fun things, you guys. We have Elimination Chamber, which feels like a lifetime ago. But anyway, Elimination Chamber. We have a great guest later on at 8:30 to talk about the draft, because that's what we're all talking about. Let's be real. And we are going to talk about the Cavs, and we're going to kick off with the Cavs as well, right?
Yeah.
How are you, though, by the way? I didn't ask you even how you were.
Oh, God. How rude of you. No.
I mean, I am the rudest.
Oh, my God. No, it's been a month. And hey, what can I say? It's been a fun month if you're a Cavs fan. I'll tell you that much. I just been working all month, but I can tell you I've been catching the Cavs in between. And oh, my God. Love it.
They just make my heart grow a million times.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm sure there's one that makes your heart grow a million times.
There's one.
There's one.
Yeah, there's one. And, that's his number. With my defunct finger.
Oh, yeah, you did. Oh, now I'm going to ask how you are. Apparently you cut yourself.
Little mishap on Monday, guys. All I have to tell you is do not rush when you are prepping food, okay, when it involves cans. So can 1, Lana 0. So ended up in the ER, but I'm all together now. Little shot, all good.
Yeah.
I did, Ethan. I did.
Yes.
So,
I've done that once before. I lost with a knife and a mango once. And I got myself right in between here and my, the web part, and it cut down all the way. And I was pregnant at the time. And I looked down and I was like, oh, a little blood, whatever. And then I turned this way and I see tendon and shit. And I started to scream and just blood everywhere. I ended up in the ER and stitches and all that.
Not a good time.
Stuff. Yeah, and now I got nerve damage. So this whole side of my thumb, I can't feel it anymore.
Ow! Ow!
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So moral of the story, be careful with your fingers out there.
I'm not using a knife anymore, so.
I don't want to touch a can. I don't want to touch a knife. I need a chef.
And for me, I can't even play video games anymore without it kind of hurting now because it's all numb. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get into it.
Well, back to our Cavs talk.
Yeah.
That's the topic right now.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. We are already on that Cavs layout.
Ooh.
I'm still learning all the new stuff.
We have everybody, there's some new nuances over here
Mm-hmm.
in
Yep.
StreamYard. It's very lovely. Oh, there he is. Well,
Yes.
one of our favorites, Donovan Mitchell.
Yes. So he has been lighting it up. I mean, Boston. I mean, I know they're playing a game right now, as a matter of fact. I need to look really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's in commercial. Okay.
Good.
So let's get back to the talk here.
Yeah.
Boston, right? I think that was like the hump that we had to get over.
Mm-hmm.
Constant talk about, the Cavs not being able to face up to Boston. I totally see it going down to the Cavs and the Celtics for the Eastern Conference Finals. But we got the best of them, and pretty proud of it.
That, I am telling you right now, I am so glad he opened his big fat mouth and said that, because now that is like the greatest meme ever.
I know. And I threw in a little Jason Tatum head there. That's for Yvette. She got her get back in a little bit of a way there.
She did. If everyone knows, Jason Tatum is the reason why Yvette lost her main account on X. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Ethan, and no one got suspended from Twitter. That's exactly it. None of us did.
Yeah.
We all minded our P's and Q's when it came to that. But these guys who say things like that before the game, or, early on in the game, they get, they got all their big balls, right? Because the beginning of that game,
Timmy Tough Nuts.
What? The beginning of that game was a little, I was a little concerned.
Okay. I got my beer. I'm sitting there watching the game. I'm pumped up. I'm like, yes. And within a few minutes, it's like 22-3 or some shit. And I was like, okay, but I didn't panic, actually. Mm-hmm. The reason why I didn't panic is because our team is resilient.
Yes.
I mean, I can't even explain it, but it's almost like they start slow, but they stay on track. They stay with the game plan, and Kenny always gets them on the right track. And they prove that.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Celtics. Most teams would have gave up.
Exactly. I know my son came in and he's like, oh my gosh. And I said, hold on a minute. Number one, we're early on. Number two, we're in their house. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Number three, and it's extremely loud in their house, right? For them. Yeah. So you have to you just have to kind of get your bearings around your surroundings, right? Okay. Calm down. Remember who we are.
Yeah. But the Boston environment is intense too.
It is very intense. And those people are not nice. I will tell you.
No, Boston fans are not very nice.
They're not nice. They're not nice in Boston. I'm just going to say that.
Not at all.
And also too, the other thing is, like we saw last night in last night's game, it was like that first half. I'm like, oh my gosh, second half.
Yep.
They're like the second half team.
Yes, they are. So you never count the Cavs out.
You can't, because weren't they down 1 going into halftime last night? They were down 1.
They took it back.
And they came back, what was it, 40-some points in the last quarter? I was like...
Yeah, but they did start off cold from the field. That was a little disheartening, and it fucked up my parlay. So,
oops.
I was so mad. I was like, Donovan Mitchell's going to have 5 threes tonight. No.
Oops.
Didn't happen. So I just need to stop being so sure on some stuff, because it always seems to come out the opposite. But
and I love that, we are able to put Donovan Mitchell on the bench to rest and Evan Mobley to rest.
Kenny Atkinson is a master of roster rotation.
And we're still winning.
Yep. And it's like they can sit Donovan Mitchell and still they came back without Donovan Mitchell. Wasn't
exactly.
Yeah. Let's see what MC says here. Who's the better coach? Uh-oh.
Well, Kevin, obviously. I have to say that, MC. But, okay, In basketball, it is Kenny.
Oh.
Yvette was framed. Yes, she was, Heather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, she was. Very much so. Very much so.
So Kenny or Kevin?
I mean, I always have to say Kevin is the best coach that we have in the land.
But it's not Kenny that you dig on the Cavs.
No, that's right. That's right.
Don't you need to come clean. You need to come clean with that.
With my love for Max Strus.
Yes.
Yes. And it shouldn't surprise anyone because he does have a fabulous beard. He has a fabulous beard. He's tall. He's funny.
And apparently he has great shoes.
And he has very great sneakers.
You said that
collection
Yep.
is off the hook. You should see what he's wearing today.
I didn't see today, but I know you're paying attention, ma'am.
I don't know if it's out there. I'll show you. I'll show you what he's wearing today. But yeah, he's so good. He's so good.
Oh.
Always have to.
Gotta have a plan B. So
that's right.
If Kevin were to ever run across any hanky panky with you, it would probably be with Max Strus.
Yes, that's who he's gonna catch me with.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Kevin.
it's so terrible. I said, okay, let me clarify. The better basketball coach is Kenny. How was that?
Oh, the better football coach is Kevin. That's lame.
Right. See? There is a proper way to answer that question.
You say so.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And Vogt is our manager in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, see how I did it? So,
well,
but I am telling you, I'm loving this team. That's all I got to say.
Me too. I was so excited about it. I decided to put together a little Cavs reel. Now, there is a little backstory to this because I actually had a song on there that I really liked, but it's copywritten, of course. So I had to change it. It's some lame shit that I found on YouTube, but it's catchy and it gets the point across. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a bunch of awesome highlights from the Cavs and Boston game, just because that was a big win for us.
Yes, my love never fails. 5 years going strong.
Yep.
Yvette says hi to Jason Tatum.
Well,
she's trying to mend fences.
I guess the other night I was going to post something about Tatum or somebody, and then I was like, watch my ass get suspended. So I'm just going to shut up. You
want to know before we play our reel, I just want to say this real quick while we're on this topic. You know what I've almost typed a couple times? I've stopped because I thought it might get me in trouble.
What
is all this time? We'll talk about this later. All this talk about Nick Chubb, and I almost say I'm going to kidnap Nick Chubb and put him in my basement so he can't go anywhere. But I'm like,
you're going to get suspended for that.
That might get me in trouble because I'm threatening to steal Nick Chubb.
But it's okay if you sexually harass him.
Right.
Well,
I mean, what is going on here?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with me wanting to keep Nick Chubb in Cleveland. And if that means he's got to stay in my basement, then that means he's got to stay in my basement.
He would eat very well in the Italian mom's home.
He would. I will make sure his pasta every day and homemade. None of that jar shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to our Cavs reel with my man.
Yeah. Let's do the damn thing. You can't say kidnap without the other K word. Those are facts.
Nothing that starts with a K. Don't do it.
Yes.
All right.
It kind of rhymes with real. I mean, no.
Yeah.
Let's go with this here.
Yeah.
All right.
It is kind of jazzy.
It is.
And I love that you took out everything that Boston did. I think that's awesome.
Okay, yeah, that's the little story behind it. I took all the highlights, put it all together, and then I ripped out all of Boston shots. This is all Cleveland here. And you know what? I don't even care if I'm biased.
I'm biased. You know who else I'm loving more than anything too is Ty Jerome and Hunter.
Yes, DeAndre
I mean,
Hunter.
It's just the bench is just so deep. I mean, it is just there's.
Okay, so not only do we have a deep bench, but he is a master of rotation.
Yeah, just like we're saying, if you can, like, and even Mobley, you sit Mobley and you don't feel it.
Yeah,
and we're killing it.
And then Garland is so shifty. I love watching him.
I do too.
Thank you, Capitan.
Thanks to Lissandra, because I have this much technical ability at all. So
yeah,
it's so good.
It's so good. And yes, like I said, it is biased, and I've removed all of Boston. But you know what? There's just a little bit of angst against Boston, so I don't think any of the Cavs fans really give a shit.
Nope.
My favorite
part.
I
love reliving the good times.
Oh yeah.
So
sadly, reliving the good times as a Browns fan is like watching shit in the 80s, but you know, it's okay. It's okay.
I know our reel for the Browns is like start, stop. And it's over. Yeah. That was a nice reel we have for the Browns there.
Man, I love making reels for the Browns. I have a whole bunch of unfinished Browns reels because I would be making them during the game as they were going. And then I would like stop by halftime, like, look at this, they're losing. And then I have a bunch of half-made reels in my folder.
That's great. Yvette says every player on the Cavs is a banger.
Hell yeah.
No lies there.
Yeah, baby.
What does Heather say? Yvette says, hi, meet me outside. I just want to talk.
Yes, just want to talk.
Just want to talk, Jason Tatum.
Just want to talk.
That was a fantastic reel.
Thank you so much.
I loved it. I loved it.
Thank you.
You can make a reel of crying Browns fans, Yvette says. Oh, that's good.
I do have one that had a little bit of sadness in it. And the end of it played Njoku on the sideline by himself, playing Everybody Hurts.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I think I remember that moment.
Yeah. Yep. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic. So Cavs, go Cavs. They're playing right now. What is the score right now? Do we know?
You know what? I can look. I have the game. It looks like it's halftime because.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to say this every time I've looked up. It's been a commercial. It's kind of annoying, but all right.
So go Cavs. Go
I'll give
Cavs.
you an update here soon. But let's get into some Elimination Chamber before we get into some other.
Yes. So as everyone knows, this weekend was someone's telling us 59-63. Okay. Thank you for that update. So this weekend, WWE Elimination Chamber in Toronto. It was a big deal. Cavs. Yes, Cavs are winning.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good.
Hold on a second. This is not doing what I want it to do. There we go.
Okay.
Podcast mom doesn't like the circle heads. So
no, she doesn't.
We gotta fix the circle heads.
Yeah. A lot of shocking events coming out of the Elimination Chamber. In true transparency, I was out for some of it. So, yeah, I was out and about. So I made it back for some. And then I caught a lot of, highlight and stuff after. So,
yeah, that's okay. I watched it. I found it very entertaining. Couple of the highlights that I enjoyed. I was really surprised that Jade came out and beat the shit out of Naomi.
I saw that. Oh my gosh.
That was great. I was like, Jade. I love Jade.
I love Jade. She is one of my favorite. And I had a feeling because, they've been teasing that she's coming back. Then they said she was released to wrestle again. And then they said she'd been gone 99 days on Friday. I was like, she's coming back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow will be 100 days. Saturday was 100 days. So I knew, I had a feeling. And then when it had come out that it was Naomi that did that to her.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because Liv Morgan's like thinking that Jade is coming at her, and then she goes and just pulverizes Naomi. So that was And I loved Alexa Bliss. She's just so
Mhm.
tiny and cute and fierce.
She
She was
is. I
great.
love her.
Roxanne Perez, loved her too. So I found out she's half Puerto Rican.
She is.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the best part of the Women's Chamber.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Mhm. Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And
Very
I
good.
have not had a lot of exposure to Roxanne, and she was very good. So I was
Yeah,
excited to see her.
she's trained by Booker T, and she's been wrestling since she was 13 years old.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah. If you look up her story, she used to take a bus every day from Laredo, Texas to Houston and train. And Booker T trained her.
Wow.
So she's his protege. Yeah.
Beast.
Yeah. Yep. And then you know what? You know what we should go over before we go through all the matches? Heather,
Mayor Lake Celeste. Oh, yeah. Yes. And she is. Yes, she is, Heather. And the Mayor likes Alexa Bliss. Oh, she went to school in Northeast Ohio. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss is from Ohio. Yeah, but she claims Columbus when they call her out. But before we go into the matches, we did do a bunch of polls. I almost forgot about that. Yes. So let's look at those really quick.
See how
we have
peeps were.
Yeah. So, who do we have winning the men's and women elimination chamber? And so we did ask, and, as we all know,
thanks, Heather.
Oh, thank you. So we had a few of the predictions, and I put a bunch of comments up there. Yep. And
CM Punk or we riot. Okay, I guess we have to riot.
Yeah, I remember that one. I was like, and Deanna, sorry about Naomi.
She really got it.
She got her
she
ass.
Was there.
Yeah. So yeah,
Ed's saying that we spring forward this weekend, but it's also Tippy time.
I like Tippy.
We love Tippy.
Yeah, we do. So yeah, some fun predictions that we had there. Let's see what we got going on.
Punk and Belair manifesting the Rhea Bianca. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This one, I watched this one all day, and a lot of times when I looked in on it, it was 50-50.
Yeah, this was very, very even, and I think it's because they know they're friends outside of the ring too. So this one was very interesting. Those guys beat the shit out of each other. That was a great match.
They did. CM Punk, oh yeah, he has been. That's for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And we were at Raw when Sammy was hurt by him. That happened here in Cleveland. So
did it?
Yeah. So then the return was this weekend of Sammy and getting them back together. And I was surprised. I thought Sammy was going to take it. What'd you think?
No, I figured I thought Kevin Owens was going to. Yeah. I feel like he's just a little more ruthless, and I'm not really a Sami Zayn fan.
I have always been in the Sammy camp. I don't know why. I just have. And he's
gotten a little more ripped lately. If you notice, he's more. He got a little more, gained a little more weight and got a little more cut. Actually, if you haven't noticed, he was like all scrawny and kind of hobo-ish before.
And I thought, ooh, revenge. He was going to come out that revenge,
Yeah,
no, he didn't.
Yeah, but that match was very entertaining. I enjoyed watching them beat the crap out of each other. Definitely a lot of fun there. Yes. Let's see what else we got going on here.
Oh, yeah, this was a landslide.
Yes, it was.
And they were right.
They were right. The fans were right. The fans have spoken.
The fans spoke, and they were not wrong. No, I totally agree. Tiff and Trish, that was...
Ed had a fun...
KO is like Josh and Healer.
Oh my God, yeah. I've seen Kevin Owens do some crazy shit, and I'm just like, man, I would probably bust my ass if I did that.
I know, right? For sure.
But yeah, Tiff and Trish, that was a fun match. I enjoyed that one.
That was
love
good.
watching Tiffany Stratton wrestle. Like she is,
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that she was previously a gymnast helps, but she does some amazing things in the ring with such precision, and I love watching her. She's going to be a great wrestler to watch as she moves forward because she's young, and I mean, it's great. So that was a really fun match.
She has such a good presence, and she's just it's great to watch all together.
Yep.
She puts it on.
Yeah.
I love her outfits. I want to wear all of her outfits.
Yes. Oh. So there were a few other matches here, like Cody Rhodes. Okay. So
Ed.
The highlight of this, and everybody knows what the highlight of it was. The heel face. Like, this thing has been memed to shit, like, for the last few days, and it has cracked me up. I even made that my Monday face. That was my Monday face.
That was so great. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that it's kind of funny because, like, my husband and I actually were talking about it before this even happened. He kind of called the heel turn, but I agreed with him because I feel like John Cena, he was never really a heel. You have, like, your heels, you have your faces, and then you have, like, the anti-face where it's like they're not quite a good guy, but they're not quite a bad guy. Like, I would say, like, Rhea Ripley or CM Punk, they're, like, for the people, the anti-hero. And I've never seen John Cena, like, as a heel. And so, like, when his face changed, I was like, yes!
Here we go!
But now I'm like, does he wear black jean shorts now? Or does he go with, like, what is he?
That's what I'm saying. He has to change this image, and I know WWE will do this. I mean, I know they're gonna transform him. I'm sure they're not gonna let him roll around in his dad's sneakers and his freaking jorts.
I hope not. I don't want to see this man in jorts as a bad guy.
No, it's stupid.
He said full-length jeans. Yes, or black leather pants.
He's got to do something black. He's got to do something like
it's got to be black. You remember when Hulk Hogan? I don't know if you remember when he turned heel. Like, he had, like, all black. He had, like, the handlebar and the shadow beard and all that crap. That was hilarious. So I'm interested to see, like, where the heel thing goes, if his music changes.
Oh, it will.
Yeah, because he's always had the same song. The song that he rapped. I don't remember the name of it, but
yeah, he's I just foresee this total image change. I'm so excited to see what they do with that. But NWO, baby. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, it's gonna be really fun to see what John Cena wears. And I mean, because we're bougie sports, we definitely are invested in the fashion portion of it.
I gotta know what the guy's wearing. I gotta figure it out. Somebody sent him. Travis Scott will do this song. Right? Probably. You're probably right.
Did you see the mashup that they did with Tupac and John Cena online that was floating around?
No.
I'm gonna have to find it again.
You have to find that and post it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, you know what? I'll probably have Cena come out in freaking Travis Scott's Nikes.
Maybe.
That's his new shoe right there, I bet.
You're probably right.
Here comes the mayor of Canton says he's going to be shaved head, black jeans. Hope he brings back the NWO spray paint and sprays his opponents after he beats them.
Oh my God. Or he could come out with, like, a bat and some brass knuckles and some chains. I don't know.
Cena comes out smoking a blunt.
Okay, I'm all in on that.
Let's do it.
I'm all about it.
That is so awesome. But that was the highlight of the night. I think that moment is obviously the big takeaway from Elimination Chamber. I think that and Jade Cargill coming back.
Yeah.
Another huge moment. And then speaking of Travis Scott, what was that? What was that? I mean, he just
I know that supposedly when he hit Cody Rhodes, he busted his eardrum and injured him, actually. That's what I heard. I was
like, I love your shoes, Travis Scott. Okay, your sneakers, I should say, and just stay in that world.
Yeah. Yeah. So guess what?
Your music. What?
Right
Is our
at
guest
30
here?
minutes. Right at 30 minutes, we have a special guest coming on
From Dog Pound Daily.
from Dog Pound Daily. And without further ado, let's welcome Mac.
Hey, the best mustache on Brown's Twitter.
Yes.
I'll take that compliment any day of the week. Thanks for having me on.
You're
Absolutely.
welcome. Love your shirt. That shirt's amazing.
I had to, especially after the speculative news regarding Nick Chubb. But
Yeah.
Yeah, can we start there? Because I already said something about that already tonight.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So you know, obviously the news with the Browns and Nick Chubb, it's pretty tough. You know, he's 2 years removed from a pretty gruesome knee injury.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
he didn't bounce back last year the way that
Yeah.
kind of everybody I mean, you know, we knew that it was going to be a process. You know, he came in mid-season. I want to say it was week 8 that they played the Bengals. So you know, he was working his way back and he was starting to show improvement. Funny enough, it was the Denver game that he was chasing down an interception to where everybody was saying, "Oh, like there's Nick Chubb. He's getting to top speed again." And then a couple weeks later, you know, of course, he has that. I believe it was a fracture in his foot that ended the season. You know, so Browns are letting him test the market. The biggest question is, you know, are the Browns going to match what he's getting offered? You know, I think that that's a strong possibility. With the way that I don't know if you guys listen to Cleveland Browns Daily with Nathan Zagura and Bo Bishop, but they briefly touched on it to where they said that the thought that would you know, that's there is that they're letting the market dictate Nick Chubb's contract, and they want to make sure that he's getting a fair, you know, shake. And my only rebuttal to that is he had a $12 million contract sitting on the table coming into this year, and they basically forced his hand to renegotiate it and cut it in half. So, you know, they haven't really done right by him, you know, especially with kind of lowballing his contract, in my opinion, when he got extended, because he wasn't even made the top running back at the time. So I'm nervous. Now, you know, Mary Kay Cabot, great reporter, but sometimes she has opinionated pieces instead of factual reporting.
Exactly.
You know, and she said it's probably not going to happen. Probably. And my whole thing is that, like, actually and probably are two different things. So, you know, it's nerve-wracking.
It is. I saw that post and my blood pressure started to rise a little bit. And it was so funny because right after I saw it, you actually, Mac, you retweeted it and you circled the word probably. And I was like, thank you, because you brought me back to reality. You brought me from freaking out. Because
No, I didn't see probably. I started to bawl. I was like,
oh, God. Yeah. And I was like, okay, you're right. It's not factual. It was not factual.
yeah, but I mean, it did get put out there for no reason.
Right. Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, for the running back room, we all know that, you know, Jerome Ford's on the last year of his deal. More than likely, he won't get extended unless he has a monster year. You know, they're going to, whether it's Nick Chubb or a veteran, they're going to have a second running back in place before they go into the draft. And this draft is loaded with running backs.
Yeah.
You know, you got Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. You got Amari Hampton out of North Carolina. You know, of course, Ashton Genty, but I think he's going to be long gone by the time the Browns come back at 33. So, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. You know, of course, you don't want Nick Chubb to go out of Cleveland the way that he did. You want to give him one last chance. And honestly, I think the Browns owe it to him. You know, he took a hometown discount on his extension. And then you basically forced his hand to cut it in half the thing that I didn't understand about that whole situation. And they said, okay, well, it's filled with a lot of incentives, about the games that he's playing. He's coming off a catastrophic knee injury, and you're dinging him for the games that he can't play when he's under your care rehabbing. And to be flat out honest, he's been the best offensive weapon for this team since 2018. His 8th and 10th carry in the NFL were 40-yard carries against
he averaged almost 5 yards a rush.
No, he was averaging 5 yards a carry,
5.4 or something like that.
Yeah. And it was just, and he was well on his way to have a monster season in 2023 until Pittsburgh fans get so mad at me when I say this, but he wasn't looking where he was tackling. I don't care whether it wasn't intentional. Yeah, but you weren't looking up. You were taking his legs out from under him, and
that's what they're trained to do because they can't hit at the head. So I mean, the thing is it's Pittsburgh, so
right.
But then on the other side, these guys are taught, okay, you hit at the head, it's a penalty. And so now we're getting a lot more lower extremity and injuries in the NFL. Yes, we're not getting concussions anymore, but now a lot of these guys careers are getting cut short because of these catastrophic leg injuries, like legs being broken in half. I mean, look at Alex Smith. His foot still is mangled and he almost lost his leg. So these guys, I think they're confused. You remember the old NFL. It's all about taking your head off. And now it's like you have to be strategic. In real time, full speed, you have to find a way to hit this guy without either taking out his legs or getting a penalty for a head-on collision. So it's hard.
There's no win-win.
It is a lose-lose situation.
So one of the biggest reasons why we wanted to have you on, Mac, the number one question everybody wants to know, what do the Browns do with number 2?
Oh, God. You want to know something?
What happened? Oh, our draft day.
Yes, that's my draft day slide. And let me add Mac. Hold on a second, because
there he is. Where'd he go?
No, I'm still learning this whole new scene thing.
That's right.
Yeah. So when you switch scenes, you have to add the people, which is kind of lame. So anyway.
Yes. So
I made a little slide, draft day. Right now, everybody's saying, well, I mean, some people are saying Shedeur Sanders no matter what.
So I know for a fact, I am 99.9% sure the Browns are walking away with a quarterback this draft. Dana Rossini reported it back in November that the Browns were heavily looking at a quarterback, and that was kind of before Deshaun's second Achilles tear, and that was kind of before that they had officially moved off of Jameis Winston as the bridge guy. So they're looking at a rookie. It just depends on between 1A and 1B. 1A, I believe, is Shedeur Sanders. 1B is Cam Ward. Shedeur is just the better fit. You can tell that his dad spent millions of dollars kind of making him the perfect quarterback from the waist down. His footwork is immaculate. The way he moves in the pocket is awesome to see. It really is. And he's a tough kid. He'll step in and he'll make the throw despite pressure in his face. And one thing that I will say to Browns fans, because they constantly tell me, hey, these quarterbacks are worth it at 2. You got to pick the best player available. You're overdrafting a quarterback at 2. Overdraft. I hate to tell you, and this is coming from a guy that played offensive line in college, one of the least respected positions in the sport. Quarterback's the most important position. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have anything. And
Yeah.
teams will overdraft a quarterback year after year. You think Denver is looking back and saying, I think we overdrafted Bo Nix. JJ McCarthy got injured in camp, but the Vikings are very happy with that pick. So happy that they're not franchising Sam Darnold. The year after year, we see it that teams say, hey, this is my guy. This is my quarterback. I'm going to go get him. And that's what the Browns are going to do here. It just matters of how number one is going to shake out. There is a strong possibility that the Titans either trade down or select Travis Hunter with number one. The consensus being the GM came out and stated, we're not passing up on a generational talent. And the implication is that it's the guy that plays both wide receiver and cornerback, something that the league has not seen. Because even Deion Sanders, he was primarily a cornerback and used somewhat as an offensive weapon. He wasn't a true both sides. So
I think
the game hasn't really seen that.
I think he only had about 60 reception in his whole career. So he didn't play offense very often. I heard a little bit of controversy about that because Travis Hunter, a lot of people are saying that it's not going to be sustainable to have him playing on both sides of the ball. So which side of the ball do you think he would be the most effective?
Well, I don't really agree with Andrew Berry a lot of times, but he did say something very smart at the combine. And that's Travis Hunter is most dangerous with the ball in his hands. So naturally you want to put him at wide receiver because he is very dangerous in the open field. He is hard to tackle. And I just see it a lot from just watching film on Shedeur. There's a lot of like quick bubble screens, a quick curl, a quick out route, a dig over the middle, something like that, to where, Shedeur's throwing him open and just letting him do the rest of the work. So, I think Travis Hunter is a very dangerous offensive weapon. I think it would be smart for teams to primarily play him as a wide receiver. And then on third down, make him be a cover corner, because realistically, when you have somebody that's that special, returning kicks, playing wide receiver and is so dangerous with the ball in his hand, I don't think you really want him tackling on the goal line, or first
risking injury.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I think it would be smart for teams. Now, are there teams out there that are saying, hey, we need a number one corner and we believe that he's a number one corner and he can also give us offensive help? Absolutely. Yeah. But I just think that it would be, especially if the Browns were to select him, they're three cornerbacks deep right now. Even if they traded Greg Newsome, you're going to play Travis Hunter in the slot? No, they need offensive help. And kind of going back to my point to QB at 2, I really don't understand and I also have a lot of, not saying that Abdul Carter isn't what he's being painted as. I think it's going to be a harder fit for this defense on what they're going to ask him to do if he was a defensive end. But the bottom line is, this was the worst offense in the NFL last year. And it was the worst by a mile. It was, the Browns have been leading the league in turnovers the past 2 years. They've also been bottom in points. They've been bottom in third down percentage. Like, they need help on offense. At the very least, if you're not grabbing a quarterback, grab a running back, grab a wide receiver.
Something.
Grab somebody that can take the ball and put it in the end zone, because that has been the issue on the Browns. And it's just, in terms of fit, when you look at Shedeur Sanders, he is very good mechanically. He is a very good processor. And that is, everybody says, well, processing isn't a trait. Okay. I beg to differ, because Jameis Winston's one of the most physically talented quarterbacks I've seen in Cleveland, but it doesn't help when you're throwing 2 pick sixes a game.
Yeah. Okay. So with that said, though, Shedeur is known to take a high number of sacks too.
Now, I love that argument, because on the basis, you do look at his sacks and you say, okay, well, what's the issue here? Because it's usually when.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I've heard that he takes more sacks to pad his passing completion percentage.
Yeah. And I've heard that as well. Now,
Hmm.
the only thing that I'll say is the hardest thing for a quarterback is interior pressure.
Yeah.
Ask Tom Brady about that. The reason why he was beat in 2 Super Bowls by the Giants was because they had big guys up front and they could rush 4 and they could get home. The biggest issue that Shedeur faced in college was the fact that they could not recruit offensive linemen. I mean, it was insane how bad that offensive line was. And the reason why he was throwing, why he was taking more than 3 seconds to throw each time was simply because he was evading pressure before the top of his drop. So I do think that and you also have to factor in, because everybody's saying, oh, well, he's taking on so much pressure and he's, and he's taking so long to throw and, he's being sacked so much. Well, there was also no way to slow down a pass rush. And Browns fans of all people should know what happens when you become a one-dimensional offense. And we saw that this year because the Browns couldn't run the ball. So every team and their brother knew that, hey, on 2nd and 3rd down, we're going to rush everybody upfield because we know damn well that they're not running a draw, that they're not handing the ball off, that we don't have to worry about contain. So we're just going to send the dogs after you. And that's what they did with Shedeur Sanders. And that's why everybody argues, oh, well, he was a bubble screen merchant. No, he was getting the ball out of his hands to slow down his pass rush. So a lot of things worked against Shedeur in terms of that. But I want to bring up a quick stat because the crazy part about it is that when everybody brings up Shedeur, they want to talk about pressure, right? They want to talk about, how often he was sacked. But here's the thing. Under pressure, he was the best quarterback in all of college football last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was first in passing yards under pressure. He was first in TDs under pressure with 12. And he had the 3rd best passer rating at 95.2.
Here is something that I was going to say that MC brought up. What about people are worried about the Dion circus in Cleveland?
So while that, it was a worry for me. And I tell everybody this, before his last year in Colorado, I was a major Shedeur hater. I couldn't stand Dion going on talk shows and promote his book. Okay, after a 4-win season, like what are you doing? Like I get you're a Hall of Fame player, but you haven't done anything at Colorado, and Oregon absolutely destroyed you and say that you were a social media team. But the way that he's handled himself in interviews and everybody outside of that one report, which we can talk about later, but outside of the one report, everybody talked about how good of a personality that he had and how well he's handled himself. And the reality is in Cleveland, and I hate to kind of be so pessimistic with this take, but I will die on the hill that it's the Cleveland Browns. It will be negative until we win and we consistently win.
And we have a quarterback.
And we have a quarterback. And this media will like, and including myself, because I do feel like sometimes I'm very skeptical of some players and how they play. But in Cleveland, it's a madhouse, and we'll tear you apart. I mean, the only harder place to play, I think, would be either Philly or New York, only because Philly fans are more violent and the New York media is absolutely terrible. But I mean, remember when Baker came to town? I mean, Tony Grossi called him a midget. Mary Kay was trying to stir the pot. I don't know how many times. Even Barstool was taking cheap shots and releasing like all these fake news. So, there's always going to be a circus in Cleveland, no matter who comes in. So it's just a matter of who can handle it. And the reality is that Shador has been under the microscope no matter where he's gone.
He's used to it.
Since he was born. Yeah, he's used to it.
And his dad, I mean, he's prime time. Deion Sanders is prime time, and that man has mastered the art of being in the media. I mean, this guy was always in shades. Like, he's known to party all night and go and play in the Super Bowl the next day.
Right.
So you make a very valid point. We've had many circuses here, and I don't think anything can top the number 4 circus.
Well, I was just going to say, we're in this huge DW circus.
I call him number 4. And you know what I think is real rich before we even go forward is how many he's blocked me, but I can still see his feed, and he's posting shit about Cleveland Browns. Like, keep the Browns out your mouth. Like, we don't want you. Number 2, he keeps posting shit about the Clemson Tigers. Your glory days are over. Move on.
Get over it.
I haven't had a chance, but if he sees this, that's how I feel.
I don't think I'm blocked. I need to look.
Yeah.
Well, so
Yvette's having a meltdown over here.
She's like, stop trying to make fetch happen.
She wants Cam Ward, and she said, now Jackson Dart has also been on my radar too. I
haven't done much homework.
I would take Shador too. I would take Shador at 2, Cam Ward if he's gone, and then Dart at 3.
So,
the third choice, but we wouldn't.
So Shador and Cam Ward are 1A, 1B. I think just Sanders is the better fit, just because he's better in the pocket. He is your prototypical quarterback. He's very accurate from the neck up. He's absolutely brilliant, and he understands coverages very well. I mean, he said in an interview his dad raised him to be a defensive back growing up. So he has that mentality under center, and, he understands coverages. But Cam Ward, I mean, in terms of physical ability, he's got an absolute laser for an arm. He's a very good scrambling quarterback, and he's extremely talented. The only thing that I would say is that he tends to bail out of the pocket a lot. I really don't like his footwork, so he's going to have to be coached up. So if they feel like Bill Musgraves, the current quarterback coach that just got hired, if they feel like they can fix him, great. The biggest problem with Jackson Dart, now here's where we start getting into really interesting QB talk, because Jackson Dart has one hell of a deep ball. He's got everything that you need in a quarterback. Now, the only problem is that at Ole Miss, they ran a spread offense that is primarily a one-read RPO, run-pass option.
Yeah.
What was the biggest problem with the Browns offense in 2024? Is that we went away from the wide zone and we started running a spread RPO one-read offense.
We don't want that.
So, and to bring Jackson Dart along, and not saying that he won't make that jump, because we don't know until it happens. But I really don't want to get in a situation again to where we're so worried about molding and you have to do that a little bit in this league, right? You have to make your quarterback comfortable. You have to bring along concepts that he's familiar with, and at least kind of give him some things to where you say, okay, you're really good in that in college. Let's bring that here to Cleveland. But with Jackson Dart, I feel like the learning curve is going to be really high for him. And he's going to have to sit out most of the year to kind of get under it. And it was really ugly at the Senior Bowl when he was under center taking snaps. I mean, he fumbled, I want to say at least 2 or 3 times. So that kind of makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Now, if it was a situation to where they miraculously traded for Stafford, and they bought themselves another year. Yeah, Jackson Dart, absolutely. In terms of development quarterback, he's the best one off the board. But I think the Browns need at least at the bare minimum, they need at least 13 games out of this rookie, because you sit him any longer than that. And I mean, let's be honest, the best bridge QB out there is Flacco. But Flacco's only going to give you probably about 5 games until he kind of turns back into a pumpkin. And that
I love
and
that
that's
guy.
and that's what you're going to get with a lot of these bridge
That's
quarterbacks.
well,
That's why they're bridge quarterbacks and not franchise quarterbacks.
yep.
So
Yeah.
Jamie
Well, that's
says
right, James.
every quarterback in this draft is flawed. The responsibility falls on the team to develop our young players. We've lacked that ability. Yes, I will have to agree that we have definitely lacked in player development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and before we let you go tonight, what do you think? Okay, so free agency wise, what are your thoughts? What should we do?
oh wait, I have a question.
So no, go.
We need to know your thoughts. Go ahead.
I have to ask.
Yeah.
It's floating around, and somebody had mentioned a straight up trade between Parsons and Garrett.
I saw that too today.
And I said, why the fuck not? We're not losing too much on defense, but I don't see it happening. I mean, it would be a win for Garrett going back home. But the other thing that I'm asking is, do you think that they're going to use Myles Garrett as leverage in a trade in the draft?
So here's the problem. Here's
know.
the big, of course, this marker doesn't want dramatic effect, right?
Ooh, we have
I just like coming up with all these different scenarios. I don't know.
I like school.
So the biggest problem with trading Myles Garrett, $36 million.
Yeah.
$36 million. Now, that is before June 1st. Now, there's a lot of speculation that it could be cut down to 16.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
16 million if you trade him post June 1st, but trade him post June 1st, you don't get any draft picks. So you're basically punting on the season. But what a lot of people don't understand about the dead money is that it's not dead money isn't referring to what they're paying the player, right? Mm-hmm. Because we see a lot of these restructures to where we can say, okay, Jimmy's going to get out the checkbook and it's only going to reflect as so much on the actual cap. Well, the problem is that when you do that, you're backloading that cap hit every year. Now we've restructured Myles, I believe 2 or 3 times now. And that dead money is keep getting pushed and pushed and pushed to the end. The second that he leads the Cleveland Browns, it is going to be $36 million against the cap. That $36 million is really hard, especially because you have $172 million left on a certain quarterback who we shall not name. So it's, and that's the thing that sucks about this, because he clearly doesn't want to be here. He's, apparently shut the door.
Lock him in Lana's basement with Nick.
Listen, Nick and Myles. Myles Garrett actually only lives a few miles from me. But anyway, that's beside.
I'd lock him in my basement.
Hey, now.
Well, but no, it's it's $36 million, and obviously he doesn't want to be here, and he's really pissed and he's really upset, and I get that. And he went on Radio Row and he doubled down. I didn't like that.
I didn't like that.
But the reality is that the Browns aren't going to eat $36 million, because then it's going to get to the point to where they're going to have to restructure and or cut everyone just to sign free agents and sign their rookie class. And that's the kind of the biggest part about this. And we could talk about, trading and like how much of a cancer it is to keep him in the locker room. But again, the reality, that $36 million is really hard to swallow. I mean, they're negative 20 right now before the rollover. And we do have some future players that we do need to extend, because they're looking at the cornerback room right now and they're saying, hey, we're going to pay one of these guys. Now, the thought is that they're going to pay Martin Emerson, but he had it down here. So who's to say that, Greg Newsome doesn't step up this year and they say, Greg's probably the one that we need to pay. Mm-hmm. They need to extend David Njoku.
Yes.
They need to figure out, what they're doing in defensive line. Yeah, they need to extend Denzel Ward. Then they need to figure out, okay, well, Alex Wright's coming up soon. And then Dalvin Tomlinson's not going to be here forever. So there's a lot of issues with money. And the thing is, with backloading all these contracts, the way this front office is operating is that they're just praying that inflation will take care of itself, and it'll get to the point to where when we're paying this stuff out, it's all good. But the reality is that if you're not playing it smart and you're not being conservative, it's going to hurt you. And the way that the Browns have been spending the past couple of years has been conservative. It's been helping them. And you look at it this year, they do have $50 million in dead cap already. $50 million between Amari Cooper, between Zadarius Smith, and I believe that there was a couple others as well. I think Jed Wills is owed dead money. Picking up that 5th-year contract was a mistake.
That's a way.
And everybody was all mad at me about that, questioning his effort for the past couple of years. Where'd that end up?
I've seen plenty of film. I saw the tape.
I've got your back on that one.
Just saying.
I've seen the tape.
Yeah, we've seen that tape.
It just really, it sucks because, again, he doesn't want to be here, but they literally cannot find it. It's not, and that's why I find it kind of a little humorous when AB talks about, we have no intention of trading him. We don't want to trade him. We want him here. We don't want to trade him. No, buddy, you can't afford to trade him.
Right.
You legitimately cannot take that $36 million contract, but you can't say that out loud. So to answer your trade question, but then to pivot, okay, so let's, the big rain cloud was out, right? Let's pivot into some sunshine. Let's talk free agency.
Yes.
I think the Browns are going to go after a swing tackle this year. Because because a lot of people are saying, hey, they should take a left tackle, early in the draft, but they really do believe in DeJuan Jones. It was only an ankle fracture, it wasn't a muscle tear. And he finished out the year very strong at left tackle. Like, he was playing against guys like Khalil Mack. I
think he did great. He moves great for how big he is. And the thing is it's a fracture. If it was a soft tissue injury, maybe more worrisome. I mean, I've had a knee injury, and my surgeon told me you were better off breaking your leg.
You are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Absolutely.
I'm living with the Achilles right now.
Yep. I'm living with it every day.
So I really do think that they're going to go after a little bit of depth on the offensive line. I think we're going to see the same starting 5 next year. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that because the offensive line was so atrocious and they didn't protect Deshaun enough. And
you want to know why? Because they didn't like him.
I think it was the man.
He was also.
I'm telling you, it is not far-fetched that an offensive line guy will be like,
yeah,
and just let him go by.
Well, it's not just that, but like you can't. It's the same thing as the Shedeur Sanders story, right? They couldn't run the ball. It was very predictable. And it's, they're facing constant pressure. It is so unbelievably hard. And a lot of people don't understand this when they haven't played the position, but an offensive lineman's worst nightmare throughout the week is pass rush one-on-ones. It's lining up against your teammate in practice, knowing that this is a pass rush drill. He knows that he can sprint upfield and there's no repercussions. And it is one of the hardest things and one of the biggest pains in the ass as an offensive lineman. Now, when that happens in a game, you are screwed. You are toast. It is good night, Irene. When the defense knows that they can get upfield without any repercussions, it's so unbelievably hard to play offense because they're just it's a foot race for these offensive tackles against these
we need
DNs.
a line like the Eagles.
Yes. So I think in free agency, I think they're going to go after a lot of depth pieces. Do not be shocked. Do not be shocked if they re-sign Jermaine Ifedi. I thought that he played well after DeJuan Jones got hurt. And I think that they're going to give DeJuan another chance at left tackle to be the franchise. And honestly, it's really not that strong of a draft for tackles. And Jack Conklin's still here. And when he was on the field, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to do a really kind of intensive job in terms of self-scouting their offensive line this year. So I think that that's going to be a position that they address in free agency just to give them a solid floor in terms of depth. I also think that they're going to go after linebacker. You got to think Devin Bush isn't going to be here. Yeah, there's no update on JOK, and it is.
I am a little frightened about that. Actually, I haven't heard good things.
And and it's kind of all speculation. But I will say this to give you a little bit of hope: the Browns are so unbelievably hush hush, and it kind of makes me mad as a fan because they do not release anything in terms of medicals. I mean, we did not know what the hell was going on with Nick Chubb until they announced that he was on the PUP list, and that more than likely this was the date that he was coming back. So, I think we're going to see. Yeah,
we didn't know what went on.
So I think it's going to be hush hush with JOK. Now, I will say this: Mahmoud Diabate played really well last year in relief. So I think they're going to ask more out of him. But they do need another linebacker to fill that Devin Bush role. Now, I personally suggested there was a former Cleveland Browns draft pick that recently got released by the New England Patriots, Sione Takitaki. In 2023.
He got released?
Yeah, he did.
So, I thought that he played well in coverage, and he was always a sure tackler. So, I think that would make sense. And he's played under Jim Schwartz before in 2023. So that move would make sense to me. And I also think that they're going to target a veteran safety, especially with Rodney McLeod. Rodney McLeod retired and
Thornhill's out.
I'm not even going to talk about that was JJ4 because and it's so crazy to me. How do we do this? How do we do this? We have 2 years of JJ3, a guy who is a vocal leader that doesn't give effort and then immediately, starts nagging into a microphone after they lose. Okay, that's fine. So we move on from him. We learn from our mistake, right? Then we sign Juan Thornhill and the exact same thing happens. So I think that they're not going to go for a starter. They're going to go for depth because I truly believe that they think Ronnie Hickman, and that's the thing that a lot of guys need to realize. They're like, oh, we have so many holes on this roster. But one thing that I've noticed year after year with this Browns front office, they do a lot of self-evaluating and they do believe in a lot of their players. And if they think that a guy is a starter, they are locked into that until they see it on tape that they're no longer fit. So I think Ronnie Hickman's going to be one of those guys that they're going to self-evaluate. DeJuan Jones is going to be one of those guys. They're going to take a long, hard look at Jerome Ford. And I know people don't like Jerome Ford. I get that.
I don't have anything against him.
I'm in the Jerome Ford camp.
Yeah. So, I think so they're going to add running back. I think they're going to add swing tackle. And I think they're going to go for linebacker. And then, there's 11 picks that they have in this draft. So
that's true.
There is a strong possibility of trading up or trading for a player. Now there is a lot of speculation. I don't know if they can make it happen money-wise, but there is a certain wide receiver on the market that's asking for a trade. Metcalf. And why don't we take a look at the last 3 wide receivers that Andrew Berry traded for? And what do they all have in common? Salary dumps. Salary dumps, salary dumps, salary dumps. Broncos did not want to pay Jerry Jeudy. Jets did not want to pay Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
Cowboys did not want to pay Amari Cooper.
Yep.
So,
isn't Cortland Sutton a salary dump? I heard he was getting cut.
There's another one. There's a lot of these guys around the league to where they're worth it, but the team that currently has them feels like they're overpaying. But
Mhm.
if the Browns do not trade Myles Garrett, which they absolutely won't, again, can't afford it, they do have a little bit of flexibility. So, I think that they're going to make a trade somewhere, or make, because they're at least guaranteed one, because they at least have like one kind of big-ish splash per year. For the 2022 season, it was Amari Cooper. Before the 2023 season, they did give a big contract to Dalvin Tomlinson. So, I do kind of feel like that's coming. I don't think that they're going to use all 11 picks. So, kind of look for either, at the very least, he's going to use it on a trade up. Just because this is what, and I realize I'm over talking here.
No, we don't mind.
I will leave you guys with this. Here's what a lot of Browns fans don't realize, because they're saying, oh, well, they're not in a position to win this year. They need to rebuild. They need to recoup their assets. They have no chance. Well, here's the thing. You got a head coach and a general manager that are working their ass off to win, because they know, and Lana, I know you don't want to hear this. I know you want to hear this.
He's on the chopping block,
but
buddy.
That seat is hot, and it is hot for the GM, and it is hot for the head coach. Yes, it is sizzling.
His seat is hot. His seat is hot,
You
man.
can smell it. It's in the air. It's crispy. And there are only two scenarios to where Kevin and Andrew Berry, because they're going to stay together. It's the whole reason why Andrew Berry was brought back, is because Kevin was safe after this year, and they want they want the relationship of head coach and GM. They want to pair them together. That's what a lot of these guys in the NFL do. But there's only two ways that they survive this. It's one, they go to the playoffs, or two, they find the franchise QB.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to take a QB at 2. Of course
they're going to have to gamble. They're going to have to. It's like, go hard or go home.
And
they have to.
And if at the very least, if they hit on the QB but they miss out on the playoffs, they can say, hey, we have our future and we finally have a chance. Because unless they find their QB of the future, they have no shot. And you're not going to find it in free agency. And there's not going to be some magical trade, which, by the way, Cleveland got burned on that last magical trade. So they're not doing that again. And there's so many reasons why you should pick a QB at 2. And I know that the Browns are going that route. And I understand that everybody's like, oh, well, you shouldn't pick a QB because you have to, but that's just it. It doesn't matter what your feelings are. They have to. It's just something that they're going to have to gamble on. And let's just hope that one of those two guys, because more than likely it's going to be Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders.
News break.
It's
newsflash.
So let's just hope that it pans out.
You will.
Thank you, Mac.
We love you. Thank
do.
you for coming and talking to us.
Make sure you tell everybody to follow you at your new handle.
Yes,
we had to make sure that you build up your following again.
Yes. For the people at home that don't know, Lord Elon labeled me as spam, and I was sent to Twitter jail. I am now back. I am THA__. 2 underscores now, not 1, 2. So 2 underscores Buffalo. I'm still up on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under the THA1_ Buffalo. So feel free to follow me. I got content coming out every day.
Nice.
Try to keep as updated as I can. But thank you so much for having me on and letting me ramble on here.
Always. And I always have to say, like I said before, I love that, Mac, you come on and you are factual. And you talk me off the ledge, and you know what I mean? Even though, like I said before, sometimes I don't like some of the things you say about Kevin, but it's okay because I know you're just being real and you're not,
he's business
emotion where I'm the emotional talker.
Now, I'll say this: when the game's on, I am full emotion. Like I am
Me too.
somewhat unhinged sometimes.
Yeah.
So like I get it. Now I will say this one thing about Kevin that has me really excited this year: the wide zone offense is coming back, and the Browns are going to run the football, and I am so unbelievably excited. And I'm telling you, there's going to be it's either going to be week 1 or week 2. There's going to be that big run that breaks off. And when
I'm here for it.
we're going to be back. We're going to be back.
We'll be back, baby.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Thank you so much, Mac, for coming on, and you are welcome anytime.
Anytime.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Well,
All
we
right,
have
well,
a
that
couple
was
more
so
things to cover.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So,
What's next?
well, we have a couple of fun things happening here, and we want to get everybody on board. So I am kidding about that, and I'm going to the next item. And where is it? Just kidding. I need to find it. I'm having a moment.
Are you going to my slides?
What?
Are you going to my slides? You want me to
Nope. I'm looking for the main slides, and then
new technology, everybody.
I know new technology. My main slides are gone. Let me find them really quick because we have a what do you call it? March Madness.
Yes, I'll talk about that while you see if you can find it. So
I found it.
Oh, good. As you guys know, we did our pigskin pick'em for football.
Yes.
And now we have March Madness. So join us in our March Madness bracket challenge.
Yes.
So as you can see there, and then, there's our password there. And obviously we'll post this after. So join us and
yes,
play along, please, because there were only like 4 of us that ended up doing this.
I was really bad about the pick'em. I apologize, but I'm going to be all about this. March Madness, we are adding women to this one this year. We need to give the women props. I mean, I love all sports, so we need to support our fellow women and get in on these tournament brackets.
Yes.
And who knows, like maybe we can figure something out on if somebody wins the brackets. We'll talk to Podcast Mom.
Yes, Pod Mom says we can give some stuff away. So you definitely want to join us. Because if you win, who knows what she's going to give you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we close out though, this is Women's Health Month, and we wanted to kind of go over a few things just to kind of keep you up to date because that's what we do here at Bougie Sports.
Yes. You know how I love to give you all every month a little bit of health and wellness for you. And these guidelines aren't strictly for women either. So I'll kind of touch a bit on it. As you all know, I'm not a healthcare professional. I play one on TV. No, I'm just kidding. But there are some screenings that are specifically for women, but there are also some for men as well. But the number one rule that you can't go wrong with, men or women, is to get your annual physical every year, annual blood work, do it every year. Even if you feel fine, maybe you don't take anything maintenance-wise for your medications, just go see a physician annually. No matter how you're feeling, have that blood work done. It's essential. We want you all to be here and be healthy. So what do we have here? What's first up?
All right. Well, let's see what we have.
Okay. First, your lung cancer screening. And this could go for anyone. And another thing with all of these screenings as well, knowing your family history is so key because even though this gives you a 50-year-old guideline, if you've got a strong history of lung cancer in your family, go. Again, I don't care if you're 30, start talking to your doctor about your family history.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we got next here.
Bone density. Yes. bone density, mostly for ladies. I do think that men, they do scan men as well. But this is a higher age. Now, if you're having your annual blood work and your calcium levels are being checked, your physician may send you for a bone density scan prior if you've got some issue there.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Ooh, the lady bits. The lady bits should be checked, even though they technically don't do like the PAP part where they send it off every so many years. You should go annually for that and get, I think we're going to talk about the boobies later too, but they do it all there. And you know what, if you run into an issue, like everybody out there, pay attention to your sexual health. Okay. Men and women, if you find out that you've been with somebody who may have more than one somebody, get your little bucket in there. Call them up and say, I have a situation. They will get you in quickly. Blood, swabs, get it all done.
Yeah.
Protect yourself. All right. Cholesterol. Oof. Again, you're having that annual blood work done. Your physician's able to follow your cholesterol and know your family history there as well, because there is a hereditary factor to cholesterol.
Absolutely.
Oh, there's the mammogram.
I had mine this year.
Me too. Boop, 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 boop. You got to get that done. And let me tell you something too, guys out there, men are not
immune
exempt from breast cancer. So feel around there, as I'm feeling my boobs on the squad pod here.
It happens.
Feel around in your chest, feel into your lymph nodes, make sure there's nothing there. Men are not exempt from breast cancer.
Love your boobies.
Love them. Oh, well, yep. Again, that well woman exam, we talked about that.
Men and women should go yearly.
Men and women. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We have one more.
Yes. Okay. I want to talk about this one for a second. This is a super important one. And matter of fact, they keep dropping the age on this as well. And
I just had mine.
Yes. Because Lysandra has a family history of colorectal cancer. So again,
my father died of it.
This is where this is where you have to tell your physician your family history. It is absolutely key, because they're going to call those tests earlier. And I'm going to tell you something else. We're going to get deep. We're going to get deep here. Mm-hmm. Even I do not trust, and neither do the physicians that I work with wholeheartedly. What is it called? The poop in the box?
I don't trust it either. But for me, in my situation, my doctor, and everybody has to go with their doctor's recommendations.
Absolutely.
I got to go every year because my father died of stage 4 colon cancer.
Yes. That the Cologuard. That's what it is. Cologuard.
Nope.
Cologuard can not only give you a false positive, but it can also give you a false negative. So if you have any form, know your symptoms. If you have any form of symptoms of colorectal cancer at all, colon cancer at all, and you have a family history, go for the colonoscopy. It's not that bad. I've had one. Lysandra's had one. We're here. We're good.
I have an actual some actual advice with this. Before you get a colonoscopy, buy a bidet.
I do not have one. I do not have a bidet.
Bro, I'm telling you, next time you go for one, install a bidet, and you will go in and you won't have any irritation. You know how they tell you to get the A&D ointment and all that stuff? Nope, I didn't need it.
I was fine. Another thing too, if you're going for your colonoscopy, request the Sutab prep. It's all pills. You don't drink anything. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, I had to drink that shitty drink. It was awful. I would have to say that was the worst part.
It was a dream. Yeah. It was a dream. So anyway, that is my that's my little health tips for you all. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes.
What a fun time. And let me tell you, and I don't know if our pod mom is still watching because she doesn't even know this, but in April, we have 2, not just one, we have 2 Squad Pods podcasts coming up for you. We have on April 1st, we are going to kick off the Guardian season with our friends James and Roger. They're coming back again, and we are doing another shot of Bertram's Mustard. So get your Bertram's Mustard ready to go. Your Stadium Mustard. You're doing a shot with us.
Mine is coming from Amazon tomorrow.
Yes,
so I'm going to actually do a shot this year with you guys.
That is going to be awesome. So we're doing that. Then the Wrestling Wind Down is going to join us on April 22nd.
Yes.
She is a female wrestling podcast, and she also loves a little wine with her podcast. So we're going to join her in some wine, and we are going to break down WrestleMania.
Yes, post WrestleMania talk, and some surprises for the end of March.
Yes, you
got to tune in for April. We got 2 episodes coming and fun things going on.
Yes, I have a very fun event the end of March, and you'll see that. And thank you, MC. And we will we'll be showing some content from that event on April 1st as well. So excited. Yeah. So thank you all. And before we close out, remember, follow our little ticker there. You can follow us on Bougie Sports at YouTube. Subscribe, watch, comment through. And also on X at Bougie Sports Squad. And The Real Squad Pod is also on X. And Facebook at Bougie Sports and Bougie Sports Squad.
Yeah.
So love you guys. Have a great night.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of March. March Madness. Woo.
Yes. We will see you guys next month.
On April Fool's Day.
Thanks for coming.